Okay, Year 8, the final one in our videos on area. And what we've got here is some composite shapes that include circles and squares or rectangles and triangles. So I'm going to do, I think I'll do 3 of these. They look really difficult, but they're not that hard. So I'm going to do 6A, 6C because it has a triangle, E and I. So I'll do 4. Now, remember, there are 2 ways to do these. You can find the area of the composite shapes and add them, or you can find the area of the big shape and subtract the whole. So these are pretty obvious what you need to do. So 6A, what have I got? I've got a square and a semicircle. So my area equals the area of the square plus the area of the semicircle. Well, the area of the square is base height, and the area of the circle is pi r squared, but I only have a half of it, half pi r squared. Okay. The side of the square is 5, so this is 5 times 5, plus a half times pi times the radius squared. Now here's where I have to be smart. Look over here. That is 5, which means that distance here is 5. But I don't want all that distance, I only want half of that distance. So the radius equals a half times 5, which is 2.5. So the radius is 2.5 squared. That's the really only hard bit of this. Then don't try and do it in parts. Do it all in one go. 5 times 5 plus a half times pi times 2.5 squared. This line that you've written here is the most important line. The answer, you could mess up, but that line shows the marker exactly that you know what you're doing. So 34.817, 34.817, ... We're going to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to draw a red line there. I'm going to look at the number behind that red line and decide whether or not I'm going to round up. So 34.8, the number behind the red line is 5 or more. So I'm going to make that a 2. And my units are metre squares. So there's a case where you add. Now 6C is very similar. It's another add. So let's have a go at it. My area, again, this time is a triangle plus a semicircle. So it's a half BH for the triangle plus pi r squared, and it's a half that for the semicircle. Well, let's have a look. The base of my triangle is 20 and the height is 10. That's pretty easy. So a half times 20 times 10 plus. Now again, if I look over here, the diameter of the semicircle is 20. So this distance is 20, but I need the radius. And the radius is a half times 20, which equals 10. So I have a half times pi times 10 squared. And again, this is the most important line. You're working. You then go to your calculator. A half times 20 times 10 plus a half times pi times 10 squared. 257.079. 257.079 dot dot dot. And I'm drawing a red line there because I have to round to two decimal places. 257.0 is a number behind 5 or more. Yes, it is. I'll make that an 8. And my units are centimetre squares. So there are two composite ones that are adding. In E, I'm going to have a different scenario. My area is going to be the area of the whole square minus the circle. Well, that's pretty easy. BH minus pi r squared. So this one is rather easy. But I've got to work out, well, the sides of the square are easy. It's 24. So 24 times 24 minus pi times, well, the radius. Well, if that's 24, that's 24. So the radius is the same as this. Oh, sorry, the diameter. But I need the radius. So the radius, if that's 24, is a half times 24, which equals 12. So pi times 12 squared. And again, this you must show. It's the most important line. Then you go straight to your calculator. 24 times 24 minus pi times 12 squared. 123.61. 123. What was it? 6106. Dot, dot, dot. We're going to two decimal places. So, equals 123.6. Is a number behind the red line 5 or more? No, leave it alone. And it was in kilometres, so in kilometre squares. The last one I want to do for you is this one. So I. And again, this one is one that has a hole in it, so it's a subtraction. So my area, let's have another look at it. Well, I've got a big semicircle minus a little semicircle, which is the hole in the middle. Okay. Area of a semicircle, well, that's a half pi. I'm going to write a big R squared for that one. And the area of the little semicircle is a half pi. I'm going to write a little r squared. So, a half pi. What's the radius here? Well, the radius of the big one is 3. And the radius of the little one is 1. So once you've got that, this one's quite easy. Times 3 squared minus a half times pi times 1 squared. And again, straight to your calculator. A half times pi times 3 squared. Times pi times 3 squared minus a half times pi times 1 squared. 12.566. 12.566. We're going to 2 dot 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 2 decimal places. 12.5 is a number behind the red line, 5 or more. Yes, round up. What units were we in? Centimetres. Centimetre squares. Righto. So that's the area of composite shapes. You've got to do question 6. And let's have a look. I'm just going to the web page. 6, 7, and 8. Good luck with those, and if you're having trouble, email your teacher.